Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Wednesday, the 3rd day of June. It's National Egg Day. Ooh, I like eggs. Mm-hmm. Are eggs good for you today?
I have no idea.
There's a really funny video about, no, don't eat those eggs. They're bad for you. And then he comes back, no, I guess the eggs aren't as bad for you. And it's funny because that's the way it works. I think they're good for you. Either way, we should all enjoy an egg today. It's National Repeat Day. It's also National Repeat Day, and it's National Repeat Day. Mm-hmm. See what I did there? It's Repeat Day. It's National Chocolate Macaroons Day and National Running Day. So it'd be a good day to go for a run, eating macaroons and eggs, apparently. I do have a guest coming up later in the program. I have an author, and she was also America's first female combat jet pilot, and she was also an Arizona senator for a while. We have Martha McSally joining us to talk about her new book, Dare to Fly. That's on the way on the John and Heidi Show. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at MarketBeatMinute.com. That's MarketBeatMinute.com. Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. I have not one but two studies today, Heidi, because they're kind of tied together. All right?
Okay.
All right, here we go. A new study found the average American has packed on 5 pounds during the coronavirus lockdowns.
At least.
I think I gained my COVID-19, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I gained, but I know it was more than 5 pounds. And then the next study says, a study by Naked Nutrition found that half of Americans feel they'll never get their pre-coronavirus body back. I will, but it wasn't that great to start with. So then there's others that are concerned they're going to get their pre-coronavirus body back. I have a link to both of these studies, by the way. They're in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. An internal investigation is underway after they had to search a Chicago inmate, police say, was wrongfully released from jail when he promised another inmate to swap identities. So a 21-year-old was wrongfully released from jail, being held on $50,000 bond. He promised a 28-year-old $1,000 to exchange identity with him so he could get out early.
Oh, okay.
So now they're checking everything because they're bringing him back and like, oh, I've got to search, figure out what he's got, if he's doing anything. Anyway, the one that was being released, the inmate that was being released, said that he let the other guy take his place because he promised him $1,000. And they're, I believe, both looking in here to see why I have this listed in the. Okay, so there's drug charges that were involved. He's no longer due to leave jail. He's ordered held without bond on charges of violating the bond on his original narcotics case, according to the sheriff's office. Now he faces additional charges of helping another inmate escape. Bad idea. But that's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Just when you thought you're getting cozy and comfy with your comfy with your triple layer of streaming, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney, Hulu, all these different things. Now a new one came out. Last Wednesday, HBO launched HBO Max.
Okay.
It's $14.99 a month, has 10,000 hours of premium content already. Things like Big Bang Theory, Friends, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and a bunch of original shows as well.
So TV shows.
Yeah, TV shows and then movies and stuff too. A lot of the content from HBO. And their head, Bob Greenblatt, said, Snyder of Justice League, the Snyder Cut does not exist, but they revealed that they're going to provide some funding so the Snyder Cut could possibly actually be created. So apparently this was online. People were asking for this. The Snyder Cut, I don't even know what that is, of Justice League, a movie. And they're talking about putting $30 million into having this, this thing that was only online before. People are saying, hey, did you hear about this? And it didn't even really exist. Now they're going, well, maybe we can make it exist for $30 million. So there you go. Apparently money well spent, ? Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Italian researchers looked at thousands of users who interacted with either science news pages or conspiracy theory pages on Facebook. They found the vast majority of the people commenting on these conspiracy theory pages never actually interacted with any other kind of page. So they're saying that if they're involved in that, they don't go anywhere else. It's like they just stay in that one little area. So that's kind of interesting. Half of us plan to continue our newfound habits after life gets back to normal, including creating podcasts, doing online fitness classes, walking more than we did before. In a survey of adults, 43% feel that they have, quote, changed their ways for the better, end quote, and they plan to continue with their improved behaviors even after restrictions are lifted. And that's the thing. If you found good new habits, you should keep doing those.
Yeah,
but
bad new habits,
I know
maybe
people,
not so much.
I know people who found some bad new habits like drinking every day and, doing things that they didn't do every day before. So maybe don't do those forever. A favorite summer food is fresh corn on the cob, smothered in butter and salted. Well, it can't possibly taste anything like the real thing. Pringles is now introducing sweet corn-flavored Pringles.
Ew.
The chips incorporate the flavors of sweet and salty fresh corn, cooked corn, and creamy butter. So
No.
I've got a link to a photo of them. They don't even look good to me, honestly. I was looking at the picture. I was like,
It doesn't sound good.
no, thank you. A bull named Ron was the cause of a power outage in a Scotland town last week. The owner of the bull wrote on Facebook, "Our bull Ron would like to apologize to everybody for causing last night's power cut. He had an itch on his bum, so he scratched it on an electric pole and knocked the transformer box off."
Oh.
So he had a little bit of an issue there. A company in the Middle East called Geometry, I think I'm saying it right, they've come up with a device that slides across shopping cart handles. It dispenses a thin layer of disinfectant between cleaning uses, or between use cleaning. So every time you grab a cart, it would have a clean handle. Right now, there's a lot of companies that have people there like spraying them down, wiping them down. And this is like a device that you just connect to each cart, and it would do that for you. They conceived the product in 2015. They retooled the concept for mass production now, because when they created it, there was not enough of a demand. People were like, why would I buy that? Nobody cares if the handle on their cart has been wiped or not. Now they're like, oh, hey, remember when we said we don't want that? Can you make 1 billion of those now? And if you've been working from home or furloughed, it's possible your car has not been moved for a few weeks or maybe even for a few months in some cases. Auto experts say before you hit the road again, check your tires.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
We've noticed that about our vehicles.
air can leak out of a
Yep.
tire if it just sits there.
sits.
Yeah,
Yep.
so check your tires before you hit the road, and that's always a good idea. Even if your car just sat there overnight, it's always a good idea to just make a little walk around and double check, because if you get a flat tire, it's better to find out before you leave rather than after you leave.
Yes.
Saying this from ample experience.
Yes, you are.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Super interesting guest today, America's first female combat jet pilot, and she also went on to serve in the Senate in Arizona, Senator Martha McSally, and she's got a brand new book that just came out. It's called Dare to Fly, Simple Lessons in Never Giving Up, and we've got Senator Martha McSally joining us right now. First of all, thank you not only for your service in Senate, but thank you so much for your service in the United States Air Force.
Absolutely, John. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I served 26 years, left home at 18, and really just extraordinary opportunities. I share some of the stories of coming from a pudgy, shy, motion-sick kid to being the first woman to fly in combat in U.S. history in my book, and share perspectives on how to overcome your own fear.
And I love the name of the book, Dare to Fly, Simple Lessons in Never Giving Up. So many times I see people give up, and I think, boy, if you would have maybe tried just a little bit longer, you might have actually made it.
Yeah, what I wanted to do, John, is share some of my, I have some unique experiences for sure. Maybe your listeners are not going to become fighter pilots, but we can all relate to fear. We can all relate to, I bring you into the cockpit of the A-10 for my first ever flight, where I was solo. There's no two-seat models. There were no simulators, and I was cleared for takeoff. It's the summer of 1994, and I had a 10-year journey to get there through adversity. It was against the law for women to even be fighter pilots, and I kept this dream in my heart and didn't have a chip on my shoulder and kept excelling, and all sorts of other barriers I share. But eventually I was given the chance, and I'm sitting there that day like I thought I was going to throw up, right? I had this fear, as any human would when you're cleared for takeoff for the first time in a plane like that. And I share with the reader how I overcame that fear, how I was able to reach back into other examples in my life where I pushed through fear, and I use the term do things afraid. And sometimes people look at people like me and they think we just don't have fear. It's not true. We build courage by actually learning to do things afraid, almost like an athlete building muscle memory. And when you do things afraid in the small things, it builds your courage and your strength to be able to do things afraid in bigger things. And so I talk about adversity and fear and other obstacles. I went on to sue the Secretary of Defense for making our service women wear burqas and climb some mountains and ran some Ironman triathlons. And again, common human dynamics, though, of pushing past adversity, of overcoming grief and difficulties and mistakes, and keep trying. And I just want to be the wingman to the reader in Dare to Fly. They can go to daretofly.us. They can get a copy of the book. They can also share their stories with me, because I love to be inspired every day, too.
That is fantastic. And I love this. I'm reading here. Courage isn't magic or genetics. It is a choice. And I love that you say that, because it really is.
It really is. We can all relate to feeling afraid. And then what we choose to do in the face of the fear is the difference. You can either start to build patterns of having fear hold you back, and then it becomes a familiar pattern. And I know many people can relate to this who are listening. Or you can start to learn to do things afraid. Just step out today. What are people afraid of today? And oh my gosh, there's so many things with this pandemic, right? Whether it's fear for their own lives or for their livelihood and what's going to come next and all the uncertainty. But what can we do today in order to step out, move forward in the midst of the fear, and build that courage for yourself, and also encourage others? The word encourage means to put courage in another. So I just wanted to give these simple lessons for people. And flying in combat, I bring them into the canyon in Afghanistan for one of my most complex missions, and you can join me for that, and how we were able to persevere towards my entire system failure while troops were under fire on the move. And there's many other stories in there, but it's not about me. It's about encouraging the listener in your own life to overcome fear, overcome adversity, and meet your potential.
Well, you've lived a very fascinating life, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to visit with you here, and I think this book sounds absolutely fascinating. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us about it.
Absolutely. They can go to daretofly.us. They can get a copy of the book. They can also share their stories with me. God bless you all. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Thank you again.
All right. Take care.
Again, the book is called Dare to Fly, Simple Lessons in Never Giving Up. Again, the author, Martha McSally, is a former U.S. Senator and retired colonel from the U.S. Air Force. If you'd like to find a copy of the book, I do have a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Guinea pigs were once sacrificed wearing earrings and necklaces and wrapped like sushi. What?
Okay.
An archaeologist found a discovery in Peru that came across 100 dead guinea pigs that had been sacrificed by Incas during the 16th century. They'd clearly been part of some sort of ritual. They were adorned with earrings and necklaces made from colorful string. Some were even wrapped in cotton rugs like a sushi roll. Says they were published. These findings were published in 2019. So what the what?
Right.
That is just bizarre. But it is today's fun fact.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for a news headline from somewhere in this world. Dateline, China. Once again, a story from China that has nothing to do with Corona, which is awesome. A burglar in China broke into a restaurant, carried off more than 33 pounds of loot. But in this case, the loot was pig's ears and pig's tails.
Okay.
And about 75 pounds of cooking oil.
Oh.
So pig's ears, pig's tails, and cooking oil.
Interesting choices.
Yeah, that's not necessarily on my list of things that I'd like to try ever. But you know what? It's probably a delicacy for somebody somewhere. And this dude is probably pretty darn happy. That is today's news headline from somewhere in this world.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by weirdgiftoftheday.com. This could have been our moment of duh as well, but I got a different one that's really a good moment of duh. So this kind of lands here, even though, I don't know, either way it would have worked. A Georgia man has been charged after lying to his employer about testing positive for COVID-19.
Told him he did?
Yeah, 34-year-old Santuan Antonio Davis charged with defrauding an employer by faking a positive coronavirus and using a fake medical letter. It caused the employer to stop business, sanitize the workplace.
Wow.
He since admitted that, I never even had that. He was employed by a Fortune 500 company at a facility in Atlanta. He lied and said he contracted the coronavirus, then submitted fake medical records to his employer out of concern for the other employees and their customers. They closed the facility for cleaning, paid the employees during the shutdown. The incident caused more than $100,000 damage to the corporation, along with other unnecessary quarantine of other workers. So other people who worked with him had to stay in quarantine. So each of them will probably have a case against the guy, too. Terrible idea. That's today's Weird News.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. A Florida woman was arrested on Saturday for, quote, spitting on groceries during the pandemic, end quote. According to police, the suspect also threatened to beat up other customers at the supermarket. 58-year-old Sharon Turpin caused a disturbance inside a store. This is right outside of Tampa. She's previously been arrested from the Largo Mall back in 2014, so this ain't her first rodeo, Heidi. But she was spitting on merchandise, and she threatened to beat up some customers in a store bathroom. And she argued with the manager. She was finally arrested, provided them with a false name and date of birth when she was first collared. She was booked into jail on a pair of misdemeanor charges, locked up in lieu of a $400 bond. Arrest affidavits do not indicate how much damage was caused during the spitting spree, but why would you do that?
I know. I don't
I mean,
understand that. It
ever.
happens more and more.
Don't ever do that. But definitely not now. But don't ever do that. Bad idea. That's why it's today's moment of duh.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for fake news or Florida. Heidi, tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it hashtag fake news made up to trick you and amuse me? Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, here we go. Fake news or Florida. A Jacksonville woman stole a police cruiser because she was, quote, late for work, end quote. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say fake news on this one.
And you are correct. It was fake news. Good job, though. I mean, you're really good at this game. I'm not. I fall for everything. I'm like, oh, please tell me that didn't happen. Did that really happen? You're like, no, it's called fake news or Florida because, sometimes, John, it is fake news. So, all right, coming up, we've got some good news to get to. That's on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Time now for some good news. I love wrapping things up here with good news. And our good news comes your way courtesy of hashtag gift card challenge. Huge thank you to everybody who's been a part of that, by the way. And I understand things are kind of getting back to normal, and they're encouraging you to continue. Keep the love moving. Keep things rolling forward. Here's our headline, by the way. High school principal travels 1,500 miles to honor each and every graduating senior at their home. How cool is that?
That is cool.
A Texas high school principal brightened the day of many seniors and their families by bringing their graduation to them. Here's a post that says, it brightened our day when our daughter's principal, Dr. Scott Roods from Booker T. Washington High School, showed up at our house to deliver her graduation to our home. So they delivered her diploma right to the house.
Aww.
And there's a video of the person walking up to the house. Everybody's got their masks on. He comes walking up and hands over the diploma cover. It says over 10 days, he congratulated all of the seniors at their homes personally, 240 seniors in total.
That's super cool.
Racked up 1,500 miles in this trip, by the way. It says, one of our core values at our school is to ignite joy. And that is what I saw on the faces of my seniors and their families. Just a few minutes of joy in the midst of all this uncertainty. So it's just a cool story. There's a video if you want to read all about it, or if you want to watch the video, you can. Or if you want to read all about it, there's a story as well. It's all in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.